Hey everyone, and welcome to a new season of the Farm Down NFL podcast with me, Jim, Finn, Punk Raider, and Denver Dave. We're here to talk about NFL boys. How are we all doing?
Not too
We're back, baby.
shabby.
I'm sure the Super Bowl only finished last week.
No, it didn't. It's been a long
I'm sure
time.
it did. Maybe I've been hibernating. I don't
A lot
know.
has happened
Must be
since
it.
then.
Yeah, loads, man. It's great to see you. I mean, Punk, I haven't seen you since the last episode, I don't think, literally.
That's because I
You've been in the
deliberately
box.
avoid you, James.
Well, that's true. I do try and get your attention.
I try to spend as little time as possible talking
all
to
my
you fellas,
invitations.
so
Yeah.
you know,
He-
I
thing
now
is,
have
At
to
least he's honest.
Mm.
me, Punk, and Finn have been meeting up like twice a week, and
Yeah.
Punk always
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
us Jim's busy. I didn't.
exactly.
That's all
Exactly.
that's all we have to go off, so.
Outrageous.
I basically spend my entire next 6 months with you. I think you can live without me for a bit of
I'd
sunshine.
like to get used
Yeah.
to you, and then
He paid
Yeah.
for the three of us to go to Barbados for a week.
Yeah,
He
we
told
went
me
to
that you couldn't
Vegas.
make
What were
it.
you
It
up
was a
to?
great trip.
I would have gone. Anyway, we're gonna start this season off with looking at who we're picking out to win every single division. So we're going to spoil it for everyone before we've even seen the ball kicked. Before we get through to talking about our predictions for this season, boys, we're going to go through a couple of quick things. We start off with the best segment in the pod, I think, and that's Felony Watch.
Felony Watch.
So some of these are old, obviously, because it's been a few months since we got a chance to do Felony Watch. But Browns defensive end Lonnie Phelps was arrested back in June for a DUI after crashing his car into a restaurant. He then asked the female police officer not to kill him because, in air quotes, females are the worst. He then informed her that she was Russian.
Wow.
I mean, it's easier if you just get delivery, to be honest.
There's no point doing a breathalyzer at that point. He's banged to rights.
what
talking
was
to
the
Steve-
restaurant? What was the restaurant, Jim?
I don't know the restaurant.
See
Dave.
the lack of research that goes
Shocking.
into it. He's just lost his touch, hasn't he?
It's not
Do you
like it
even know
happened in
about Lonnie
June at all.
Phelps?
Yeah. It was a Nando's, by the way. Just saying. It
Well,
was
that's
a
all right.
Nando's. It was a Nando's in Barnsley.
What we've just witnessed there is Dave one up you there, Jim.
Yes, with more facts than I had. Talking of DUIs, Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison was arrested in July for a DUI in Los Angeles, so enjoying his time off. Two women have sued kicker Brandon McManus and the Jacksonville Jaguars over allegations of sexual assault during the team's flight to London last season. We were at that game.
We were.
We're not connected to that
We
incident.
weren't.
No.
We
Yeah,
we,
it was a
we weren't
cool
anywhere
timing
near
then.
Brandon McManus or these
No,
two women. But
No
you
one
know,
can prove
it's-
otherwise.
The way that you said we were at that game, I mean,
Yeah, there's something going on there.
there's
think
something
maybe
a bit funny
Jim-
there.
I mean, Jim did disappear quite quickly at the end of the game, so you never know quite what he got up
Yeah,
to.
but there was also that 35-minute period during the game where he went missing. And
That's
no one
true.
knew.
That's true.
Well, we're busy. And lastly, back in June, the Atlanta Falcons were docked a 2025 fifth-round pick for tapping up Kirk Cousins, who obviously eventually went to them. The team were fined $250,000, and general manager Terry Fontenot personally was fined $50,000. The tapping also included Darnell Mooney and Charlie Werner.
Yeah,
The thing is,
because no
Naughty
other team
Falcons.
taps anyone up
Well,
at all.
it's not just that they're stupid enough to get caught, but it was Miami
Yeah.
who lost a first-round pick for tapping up Tom Brady and Sean Payton
Yeah.
and not getting him.
Mm.
So why did they get done a first-round pick and and Fontenot? And they only got done fifth round pick. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But hey, this is
Since
the
when
NFL.
have the rules of the NFL made sense?
Yes, you raise an extremely valid point.
Those are the felony watches that we've caught up on. We're going to do a quick section as well for retirees. So some of the long-serving members of the NFL have passed on to a nice retirement.
What?
Hey,
What?
They
That's
may-
what
they
you
may
say
say
about
that.
me when I leave the podcast.
pass on to pastures new. To
That's
pastures
better. That's
new,
better
boys.
wording.
There we go. We're going to start with a big one. Big Nick Foles has retired from the NFL, though he last played for the Colts in 2022. He made his name in Philly by stepping in when Carson Wentz went down and delivered the Eagles their first new Super Bowl win in 2017 over the Patriots. The 35-year-old ended with 14,227 yards passing, 82 touchdowns to 47 interceptions in 71 career appearances over 11 seasons. What a man.
I mean, I didn't know he only retired this year. I thought it was a couple of years ago, if I'm honest.
Like I said, he last played in
Let's be
2022,
honest.
but
But
He pretty much
Near
retired
enough.
after the Eagles, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but
don't
to
have
be
to buy
fair
a
to
drink
Go
in
on a high.
Philadelphia
I
anymore.
was going to say, it doesn't matter what he does for the rest of his life. He could do
No,
an
he'll-
OJ.
He's gonna. Yeah.
He'll never have to buy a drink.
he'll
in Philly.
never have to buy a beer in Philly ever.
100%.
No. Well done, Nick. Former Washington Commanders and briefly Titans guard Sadiq Charles might have just retired at age 25. It says something when you put with Dan Snyder, but this Titans team's the final straw. But yeah, Sadiq Charles Gone at
Who?
25.
Never heard of him.
Well, he's only been in the league for 5 years.
Oh, he'll be missed.
Here's one that
So
it's all right.
much.
The Raiders just bought 28-year-old Michael Gallup, a wide receiver over from the Cowboys, to beef up their offense. Michael Gallup then retires 2 months later. General Manager Tom Tedesco was quoted as saying, "I didn't see that one coming at all."
What was that, Yogi Bear? You know,
It sounded like Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
know.
Hey. Oh.
It was. Well, might have actually been Scooby. What insider on this? Why is he retired? Has he just felt his body? Has he just felt
Took a
old and
look
knackered,
around,
or he
didn't he?
just?
I think it's a little bit of just, I can't be bothered to play anymore. I've got 20 million in the bank from the Cowboys. Let's just not bother because I know I'm going to be the 5th wide receiver here anyway.
Oh, the 5th. All right.
Yeah. Trey Tucker,
Very cocky.
Devontae Adams, Jacoby Mayer.
Better than Michael Gallup.
Yeah, all
Show
of
of
them.
hands, please, boys. Who thinks they'd be the 5th best?
There's no cameras.
No, there's
on
not
for
many
this, Jim,
hands
so it
moving
doesn't-
there.
To be fair,
There's not
they've
many
got-
hands with you lot because they're all hidden under the desks.
If you
Wanna know
talk,
what
if you're
you're up
talking
to.
receivers, they've got
That's
2
true.
good tight ends, so I can't
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And then there's the 2 tight ends as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
not
know,
having Jacoby Myers though. I'm not having that.
Ooh.
You didn't put your
quite
hand
a
up there, Jim.
receiver, mate.
So you're making out that you're on this high
Well,
horse.
no. I'm saying he's not. Oh, Jesus. I said if he wasn't. Anyway, Dave's
Straight back in
favourite-
the swing of things, isn't it, boys? You know, everything
Oh, we've
nice and
touched a nerve
smooth.
here.
And
Sorry. Dave's favourite Rashad Penny, running back for the Seahawks, retired in July. The 28-year-old played 5 years with Seattle and spent last season with the Eagles. In 45 games, he ran for 1,951 yards and 13 touchdowns, or as Derek Henry calls it, 1 season.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure he's been around longer than that.
No, he had huge amounts of promise. He was the first guy I really fell on my sword on.
Dave's guys.
Yeah, and
Wow.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. A couple of 2,000-yard seasons coming up. You watch.
Well, he's just retired, mate. So it's going to be
Yep.
interesting to see
Marshawn
how he
Lynch came
manages
back. Just saying,
It's
It's
very
easy
true.
to do that in the minor leagues, isn't it?
it happens all the time.
The CFL's waiting for him.
Yeah.
And lastly, Colt McCoy is hanging up his spurs as a quarterback in the NFL after 14 years. A 3rd-round pick in 2010 by the Browns. He ended his career with just under 8,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns to 32 interceptions, so on the right side of that. His number 12 jersey for the Longhorns was retired this offseason.
Lovely.
Congratulations to Colt McCoy.
I mean,
Great
Colt
name.
McCoy retired. Is this the 2017 edition or what? Because again, I'm sure he went a long time ago.
This is what happens with quarterbacks, Dave. They hang around.
You'll know that. You got
Expensive
Russell
life.
Wilson. He's going to be there a while.
Ooh, you're paying for
There
him.
we
So thank you
go.
very much.
Hey man, I've paid double again next year not to have him on my roster.
Knowing the Broncos, you might.
You're so convinced by Justin Fields, you got him playing at wide receiver.
Well, he's having to throw the ball and catch it himself.
Yeah.
Some skill.
Let's move on to the actual main part of this pod, which was we're going to be predicting actually everyone's final position in the NFL for this upcoming season based on vibes. So we're going to start in the AFC East. It's the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets.
Why
and
are
the
we
Patriots.
randomly starting in the East?
I don't know. He's
What
halfway
is wrong
down.
with
He's
you?
halfway
You
down
do
my
this
bloody
every-
sheet. Do we
You do
not-
this every single
North,
year.
South, East, West.
or
I, don't,
North,
I-
East,
I-
South,
personally-
I
East.
personally don't mind this because this is I've got a little image here. AFC East is first for me, so crack
Well,
on,
you
Jim.
two as bad as each other, then, aren't you?
Awful.
What does it
Awful.
matter? What does it matter?
It doesn't matter. We're
It's
just
not
old.
logical.
To
We
what?
just, I don't know.
It's like we can tell the time on an analog clock, and you digital boys can't.
It's true.
Okay.
Although Jim
So
is
we're gonna-
actually older than me. Just
I
saying.
don't know
That's
how that's
true,
possible.
actually. Yeah,
But I've
We're
like,
gonna start-
you've just led a harder life.
yeah, I've got the soul of an 80-year-old woman. That's what it is.
got the Purser one.
The underwear of an 80-year-old woman as well.
Cost me money.
AFC East boys. So who wants to go first with their
Me.
rankings of
Well,
what are you doing? Colin and
Are we
Dave, what
going? Are we
doing here?
going where I'll give you all of my 4, or just we go?
Yeah.
We're going round and going who's winner, or how do you want to do it?
We should go 4-1.
You're 4-1.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay. Again,
to
am I-
one. and
consensus
just do-
Patriots.
just do your 4 to start with, and we'll all
Okay.
do our 4s.
All right,
and
who's
then-
at 4?
okay.
last place Patriots. Surely for everyone, it's Patriots. Then I think the Jets, because I'm not buying into a 40-year-old being the savior of the Jets.
Off an Achilles injury
Yeah,
as well.
off an Achilles injury, thrown 4 times in the last 19 months or something. So I
Mhm.
think the Jets. Then I think the Dolphins, because I think they don't play well in cold weather. The stats when they're playing away in cold weather are horrendous, and a couple of injuries in their squad's decimated. Bills first, purely because this year I feel like they're going to have a run game. I know it's ridiculous and it's stupid. I'm just going a little bit against the grain.
So you completely ignored my do 4, we'll all go round, do 3, we'll all
He
go
just bolted,
round.
didn't
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, I
Bolted
thought you
to
said
the
do.
game.
I
do
did wonder
four
what
as
was
in
going on, but
do all of your 4. There we go.
Do all you 4. All right. Well, I differ from you very greatly. I have the Patriots in 4, obviously. I
Yes.
think that goes without saying. I have the Bills in 3. I think
Ooh.
they're going to struggle this year.
Ooh.
I have the Dolphins
Can
at
go
2.
back. Why
No,
are they
go
going to
on.
struggle? Give me a little more.
Why are the Bills going
Give
to
me some
struggle?
meat on the
Because
bone. Yeah.
I've just got this feeling that Josh Allen has lost his number 1 receiver. That
Mhm.
O-line really is starting to look a bit like the Steelers line, which is
Hey.
more than a little
It's not
porous.
that bad.
Well, no, but it's
Not really,
getting that
yes.
way. And then just generally, I just think they are, as an organization, I think they're slightly burnt from the last few years. And I think they just need 1 season, maybe 2, to kind of hit a settle down, reset, temper expectations type year. And I think this year will be that year. I do agree with you, their run game should be better.
Yes.
But we'll see, because
But
I'm not
they-
convinced by that O-line at all.
Dion Dawkins is still very good as their left
Same
tackle.
O-line
But
as last year.
yeah, Matt Milano does look as though he might be out for the season.
Yep.
So that's going to be a big miss for them in the middle.
Agreed.
Milano's just a missile, though. He just ain't. This is one thing. He can attack the
He's good.
runner, but
Yeah, but what a missile.
gets caught over the back so often.
Yeah, but there's missiles and there's missiles. Come on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
Who's second?
2, Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think exactly similar to you. You know, they'll be great in September, October, early November, and then they're just gonna freeze up a little bit in their away games, and they always tend to do poorly down the stretch. Last few games of the season. And number 1, I can't believe that even with I can see where you're coming from with the quarterback, but with that offense, the players around him, with that defense as well, I can't see how even a 70% of Aaron Rodgers playing dink and dunk Tom Brady ball wouldn't actually win that division. And I'm going with the Jets, and I stand by it. Of course, this might all change if he does snap his Achilles again within 10 minutes of taking the field. But you know, at this point in time, I think the Jets win that division.
I mean, I'm not gonna retort that, because I think there's 2 other people here who might do that for me. So,
Yeah.
Finn,
go on then.
Finn.
what say you?
Right. So as you said, Patriots plumb last. No other way about it.
I want to come on to the Patriots in 1 second or 2, but yeah, carry on.
I, like Dave, I've gone Jets third. I just don't, I know what you're saying, punk around Rodgers, and even if he's a glimpse, with the offense he's got, they're going to make things happen. But I just don't see it being enough to sort of push them up the division. I think they'll win games, but I don't see them.
So you don't think a competent quarterback helps them win 3 more games than they did last year to take the division?
No,
I've got them winning 2 more games, but still not getting anywhere near the top of the division.
I don't.
Yeah, but you think the Steelers are good, so
Actually,
Right.
shade all the time. So yeah, same as Dave for the bottom 2. Although I am going to flip the top 2, and I'm going to put the Bills in second, and then
by the paper fish.
and then have the Finns topping it.
Mm.
Purely because I think that at some point the Dolphins always tail away, and they start strong, and they're not good on the road and in big games. But at some point, that has to change, and I'm resting on my. I'm just
I
going
worry
for it
about
that
that
it's
Dolphins
this season that
defense,
this is the season that they actually sort of keep it together. I still think they'll still press the self-destruct button on many times, but I think it'll be less than it has been, which is going to be enough to clinch it.
I love
The
the
Dolphin-
fact that Finn gives 5 reasons as to why they might not be successful, and then retorts it by saying, "But it's got to change soon." I can't see it, man. I just can't see it. Away in December when they have to win in Cincinnati or something like that, I've got no faith on it.
I think this is the year.
to me, the Dolphins are becoming the new Cowboys. as the Cowboys drop off, I feel the Dolphins are trying to take their title of qualifying for the playoffs through the wild card every year and just falling over because they got to play in cold weather.
I think they'll be all right. I think they're going to win. I'm matching Finn's rankings there. I think the Dolphins will win the division. Better team on paper, better coach as well, which can't be understated. Bills have been knocked around too many times. The shine's come off that, and they were playing Josh Allen within himself last year. So
Which means it'll be better this year.
No, it won't, because he'll start playing hero ball again and start losing games for them. So I've got, Bills coming in second. Same amount of wins as the Jets. I've given the Jets 2 more wins than last year, but they're still not good enough to quite make the playoffs. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. Even the year before he took the Achilles injury, he was trash. And he is such a toxic part of the locker room. You can't discount that part as well. Patriots, look. Well, I mean, we've seen the Patriots a long, long time ago look like this, but this is back to exactly what they were before.
So I was going to say
I have seen this version of the Patriots, and you lot are in for a real fun season.
We saw it last season. So I was going to say, we've all got the Patriots finishing bottom. Let's very quickly put a number on it, on the number of wins we think they'll get. What are they going to leave with?
3.
2.
3. 2.
3.
I'm going to go 3. So there we go. Bad season for the Patriots.
It's going to be a very bad season for the Patriots. Let's, as we're kind of, we finished here with the AFC East.
What we're going to do now, NFC South, just be completely random.
Oh my word! I was going to go to the NFC East.
All right,
NFC.
Oh,
yeah,
that is a bit rogue, but all right, go on.
Okay.
All right. So we've got the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, the Commanders. That was the order they finished last season. But go on then, Punk, Mr. Know-it-all. What's happening?
Oh, I'm going first this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we doing a Dave and just running through all 4?
Whatever you want.
That seems to be how we're doing it now.
Right. Okay. So tied 4th and 3rd, I have the Giants and the Commanders. I get the feeling they both should be all right this season, but they'll both only get about 6 or 7 wins. I think they'll end up very close together, probably separated by points scored or something like that. Second, I have the Cowboys. Although they are falling apart as an organization, I think they've still got enough players, and as long as they get some contracts sorted out, or at least manage to get people back in the building when the season starts, then they should finish second, I'd say reasonably comfortably, because the Giants and Commanders are in that rebuild process. And even though they had that massive meltdown at the end of last season, I think the Eagles will probably win this division. I don't think it'll be as comfortable as they've won it the last couple of years, but I do think they've got the personnel to, and probably just generally the better squad out of everyone in that division. So Eagles 1, Cowboys 2, Giants 3, Commanders 4. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders and Giants were flipped.
Finn?
Mm-hmm. I have the same, apart from I have the Giants and the Commanders flipping. I think purely on the basis that there's no real expectations for Washington this season. You know, they've had a complete overhaul, and I think with that there's going to be there's less pressure on them. So I think it's going to allow them to play a bit freer, and in games where you normally expect them to sort of self-destruct, I think they're going to sort of hold it together and play a bit more risk because no one's really expecting anything. So I think that's going to lend themselves to actually get a few more wins and sort of pip the Giants to third. And then I've got Cowboys and then the Eagles finishing out the top. I think it's going to be close, but yeah, we know what the Cowboys are like. They'll put a run together, but it'll just be that stretch too far. And I think the Eagles will have learned from their horror show in the playoffs last year.
Jim, what say you?
Okay, this one I've got as a very tight division, except for the Giants, who I don't see winning many games this year. I mean, you know, they deserve it for what they've done over the past off season. They had a chance to move on from Daniel Jones. So they paid him and left Saquon to go to their division rivals. And he's just looking exactly the same Daniel Jones that we've been seeing for a long time. So I don't expect...
Preseason means nothing.
Well, I'm just saying he's looked the same, whether it's preseason or regular season, except he's got a beard. I always tell myself before I do these things that I will not over egg the Commanders because I always seem to give them more wins and they always let me down. I might as well be a Commanders fan at that point. But I have got them getting quite a few wins just because I do like Jaden Daniels and I do like the skill positions that they've got. They've got a couple of really good wide receivers. They've beefed up the line a bit more. They've put some fun players on defense. So I have them coming third, but with the same record as the Cowboys and the Eagles. But I have the Eagles just getting it on division games over the Cowboys because I think both of those teams. I mean, the Eagles couldn't buy a win at the end of last season.
Hang on. So you've got the Commanders with the same record as the Cowboys and the Eagles?
Yes. But they finished third.
Which is what? 10? 9?
9 and 8.
Do you think the whole division is going to go 9 and 8?
I think 3 of the
Giants
Giants
get
17.
No, they get 4.
That's bold. It's
very I mean, yeah, look for the record, and I think that when it comes down to a scrap, they've got a good chance in a tight game with a half-week opponent. So,
this is going to be that division as a couple of years ago where we're just saying no one wants it because they're just going to be taking
the NFC South.
That's what we're doing next.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's my NFC South this year. Yeah, but the Eagles just have enough to get the division tie over them to win the division. But I think the Eagles and Cowboys both go through to the playoffs on that one. Go on then, Dave.
I got the Eagles winning. Don't need to say anything that you guys have already said. I've got the Commanders second. Now, reason for this is because I think the Cowboys have made some terrible decisions in players they've kept and players they've left. I think the offensive line is a lot weaker than it has been in previous years. I don't think they've got a particularly strong run game. As Jim mentioned in last week's podcast, Ezekiel Elliott did 1 5-yard run and was blown out of his arse.
That was in training.
Even still, Jaden Daniels is fantastic. I think he's absolutely fantastic. So Commanders second. And again, they've got fun pieces. They're just going to be, do you know what? They're going to be this year's Texans. Not, I'm saying that they're good. They're going to be really fun to watch. They're just going to be a really, really good vibe team to watch. So yeah, Commanders second. I don't think it'll be close between them and the Eagles. I think there'll be a clear daylight between the two of them. Cowboys third and the Gnats at the back.
Is this you picking the Commanders in the way that you picked the Panthers a couple of years ago?
That was a long time ago. Do you know what it is? It's like when it's like 2 years ago when I picked the Jags and you lot all laughed at me and called me a moron and they won the damn division. That's what it is. But Jim agrees with me.
Yeah.
I can definitely see a world where the Commanders get 8, 9,
Jaden
10
Daniels
wins.
is good, man.
Absolutely,
so
I can.
Good.
But
so
I just wonder with the amount of new players, the amount of coaching changes, the amount of everything. I know what you're saying about the pressure being off, but I just think it's going to take them a few weeks to get going. And I think for me, they're going to be a second half of the season team. So they might have a few growing pains and all the rest of it. And that might be where they lose the games that possibly could get them up there.
But then how many times have we seen the Cowboys start badly and be a second end of the season team? So there's the possibility that by definition, them being less bad than the Cowboys. Does that make you get what I mean?
Yeah. They're less poor.
Just to say, I mean, they're playing out of division. Cardinals, Panthers, Titans, Saints, Falcons, Browns.
They've got every chance.
It's a nice schedule for them.
Maybe.
Well, we'll leave it with that one then.
There you go.
Commander will be very happy about that. So
yes.
Let's move on to the North.
Which one?
For who?
The AFC North.
Okay, we're flipping back.
North.
Okay, well, Jim, it's your turn this time, so crack on.
Lead on.
All right, so in fourth, I've got the Cleveland Browns.
How dare you?
Yeah, I've got them going 6-11 this year.
6 wins with that quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be lucky.
Really?
For that. I was feeling quite bad actually, and then earlier on I was on Twitter and I saw a Browns fan chirping off, so I'm good with it now. 6 wins for them.
You made peace with it.
It's a drop, but you know they've brought in is Stonehands Judy on in wide receiver, and Amari Cooper's going to be pissed. They tried to trade him for Brandon Ayuk, so he won't be putting half the effort in now. In third, I have the Baltimore Ravens with a couple of wins less than last season. They have lost their entire defensive staff. And
didn't they win 13 last year?
Yes.
So a couple of wins less.
Well, I said 3.
Haven't you got too
So
many
you've gone
games?
10.
If you've got
10.
2 teams ahead of them,
Finishing 10th, finishing third in your division with 10 wins. That's rough.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not gonna
that's the way it
happen
goes
either.
sometimes. It's the way it goes sometimes.
No,
I
do
don't-
we
Nature
need
of the
to stage
beast,
an
is it?
intervention? Have you got the Steelers winning the division?
Can we
He's probably
just
got-
calm
he's
down?
probably
All
got
right?
him
Can we just
17 and
calm
0.
down? I'm just. I
Jim,
would
we're
not
only
do
doing
that.
it-
blinkers off.
I
Jim,
would
we're
not
doing-
do that.
Jim, we're doing it out of love.
Yeah,
That's all.
it's fine. It's fine.
Don't worry. When we do the AFC
got-
West, you
I've
lot can
given
go
them 10 wins. That
mental
was
at
not
me.
easy for me to do, right? 10 wins for a now a certified choke artist in Lamar
It should
Jackson.
be a lot more.
And in
Bengals
second
are going
place,
17 and 0.
in second place, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh,
A good comeback for Joe Burrow. He gets to play most of the games, but maybe not all of them.
Oh,
And with the same record, but winning the division is the Pittsburgh Steelers. With one more win than
all
last
three
year.
of us are rubbing
With-
our eyes, going, "For God's
The
sake!"
Steelers, I gave the Steelers
Wow.
one more win than last year when they had Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. So I gave them one more win than last year.
I
But the
sort of
way
knew
it
you were
works
going to
shakes
go
out
with
is they win the division.
Steelers top, but I didn't think you'd actually go with Steelers top.
Well, I didn't know that either until I went through the games.
Oh, of course,
That's how it
yeah.
shook out.
Well,
And then you just
happen to click
you've
Steelers
got to
win
remember,
every time.
Jim starts with the divisional games, which means the Steelers are 6 and 0 before anyone else has even got a win.
No, they're not.
So
It's not. It's not like that at all. It's not. I can go through the games if you want, but I'm not going to.
No,
No,
They
no,
have
no,
the
that's
same.
all right.
no,
I
I
gave
don't
them
need your
one more
massive
win than
spreadsheet.
last season. One more win.
Yeah, but last season you
there
had
were
two
games
better
taken off the
quarterbacks.
others.
You know,
No.
Joe Burrow didn't play last season, really, yeah?
He played for half of the season. And that's the Bengals.
And that's when he
throwing
was
him out there.
injured.
That's the Bengals spot throwing him out there. They're a cheap franchise, and they're gonna, lose.
Here we go.
What? They're gonna,
True feelings are coming out.
they're gonna lose half their receiving core for a start at the end of the season. So
Yes, but that's the end of the season.
but that's
We're
the
talking
end
about
of the
actual
season.
I gave them 2 more wins than last year. They got 11 wins.
I've got
Oh.
I've got the Ravens bottom because in 4 years Harbour's going to retire. I mean, that's just as
It's about
sensible.
time.
Why
It's
not?
about time you moved on.
Right, it's my go. Bottom
Dave.
Steelers, third Browns, second Bengals, first Ravens. I don't
How
need
are
to
you-
say
how are you
anything because
justifying
that's
that?
exactly the way. I don't need to justify it. Everyone else is going to.
Just
Listen,
just say that
The
again.
Ravens. So the Ravens are going to be first, then the
Yeah.
Bengals, then the Browns, and the Steelers. Right.
I have it the other way around with the Browns and the Steelers. But apart
Okay.
from that, yeah, it's exactly the same.
So the reason I've
So
gone
do
for the
I,
Ravens
actually,
is
yeah.
just because I think they are a efficient outfit. And Punk and I think Finn, you even said this last season as well. You go into a game and they do enough, and they're a little machine. They're well oiled, and they just do the right thing. And they've had a Derrick Henry, and if they can keep a run game that isn't constantly getting injured, I see them as a very good, efficient team.
Mhm.
Bengals, I mean, Joe Cool's so good, and I hope he's fit for the entire season because I enjoy watching him play. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and apparently he can't train for 4 days running because his body doesn't allow him to, which is
That's
an
That's
encouraging.
enormous,
fine.
an
That's
enormous
fine.
He's
concern.
all right.
You don't when you've been in the league for as long as he has, and you know the position
like
as
it's
well
been
as
like
he
4
has, you
years.
don't have to train. You could, as long as you're doing
Jamarcus
walkthroughs and know
Russell?
the playbook, he's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a concern, but he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Browns above the Steelers only because I think the two. To be honest, you'd probably throw a cigarette paper over these two. I think they'll be really quite close. It's just the Browns' defense has got a bit more on there. The Steelers' defensive front's a lot better, without a doubt. Half of it's because I want to piss off Jim. The other half is just because I kind of.
It's
I
more
don't
than
know.
half.
Maybe more. Maybe like 55%.
I'll be honest.
Like the
I
fun.
had the Browns in 4 and the Steelers 3 only because of Derek Watson. I just don't see how he wins the Browns enough games, even with the good defense. Steelers in 3, I don't trust them at all. I don't think either of those quarterbacks are going to work. I think you're going to find that out by mid-season that the Steelers really are just, a defensive team that aren't going to be able to put up any points. I think the Bengals, they've got some holes still. They've got a few, receiver issues, possibly. Going through the season, depending on contract talks and stuff. But I think the Bengals are a close enough unit and a good enough team to at least go second in this division. And I think the Ravens, even though they've changed the coaching staff, this defense knows how to play. They don't need a huge amount of coaching up, as it were. And Lamar Jackson in the offense, I think with the addition of Derrick Henry will be efficient. Like you said, I don't think they're going to put gaudy numbers up, but I think they will do enough to win.
Yeah. I'll just say one more thing on the Steelers, and this isn't me trolling. This is me being genuine now. I think the sooner you move off Russell Wilson, the better, because he's not the future. And Jim, I listened to an old podcast the other day, and you said he's washed up. I now agree with you. You said that when he was at Denver, okay?
Yeah.
I think the sooner you move on from him
that's fine.
try and build something around Justin Fields, the better. That's my genuine belief.
That's always been my
See,
position as well.
Dave, when he said
Finn's
that,
laughing his head off because
he
he's
wasn't-
going, I saw this 4 years ago, lads. What are you worried about?
thing is, when Jim was saying that, he wasn't in the Steelers uniform, so at that point it was
No,
it
exactly.
was
I
a
haven't
just
changed
comment.
my opinion. I have not changed my opinion on
You
Russell
have a bit.
Wilson.
It sounds like you
haven't.
have.
No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
You were
I
saying
haven't.
he was going to play for like the
And we-
first eight weeks, and then
Just the
You
point.
go on a
well,
bye and then
because
Fields
we've
will
got
come
yeah,
in.
because we've got an easy start to the season. So if we get some wins under our belt, then they'll keep him in. The point that
Which
Punk
is
made
not a
about
good
us not
thing.
putting up points, we didn't put up points last year. We were a defense-only team last year, and we still managed to win 10 games. So riddle me that one. We don't
Yeah,
do
but you
losing
can still
seasons.
finish third because you've just proven that with your
That's fine.
NFC picks.
Yeah.
Or fourth.
No. Ben, what are you doing?
I have Browns in fourth. I then have the Steelers purely on
It's
on a-
fine.
on a
It's fine.
scheduling basis.
I'd apologise to him.
No, no need. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sticking with this. No way am I putting them first, Jim. You're deluded. I then have the Ravens. I think, as we've said, they are, they're a very good team. They're a machine, and they've got some incredible pieces. But I do think that we are going to see some gaps because of the coaching overhaul that they've had. And I think a season of hopefully, if he stays fit, a full season with a fit Joe Burrows is going to be enough for the Bengals to take the division.
Okay. There we go. Lots of strong opinions there on the AFC North. Let's move on to the NFC North. I'm sure there'll be some more strong opinions here.
Yes.
Finn, have
Mike
you been
go.
first yet?
Yeah, yes.
Not
my
yet.
go. We
No,
go
I
from
haven't
behind
yet.
now.
It's Finn.
It's me first now?
No,
No,
you just
you
went
jumped.
first.
It was Dave
I went first on the
but
AFC. Okay, yeah.
after
You went
me,
first because you.
Jim jumped.
That's
Apologies.
right.
Finn,
That's
you go.
right.
So it's me.
thought it was
Right.
Finn.
So I have. I was top two. I was happy with, and I found quite easy to figure out. Bottom two, I was sort of tossing between. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to have the Vikings as number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not confident in what they've done and how they finished.
You're not a
last
Sam
season.
Darnold believer, no?
No, I can't say I am. But I'm sure there's someone out there under a rock that is.
Might be someone closer to
Well,
home.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
So yeah, Vikings in fourth. Then I've got Green Bay. I think that they are gonna be. Like I said, I don't think there's gonna be much between them. I think there's gonna be a few games difference. I'm not talking they're gonna be streaks and bounds ahead. But I think they're gonna do enough in some crucial games. I like the look of the Bears. I think they've done a lot right in the draft in the off season. They're not going to make enough strides to take the division win, so I'm going to have them in second. And then the Lions, I mean, how they played last year was phenomenal, exciting football. And I think they're going to continue to build on that. So I have the Lions taking the division.
I'm in lockstep with Finn on this one in that rankings.
Slightly different. I've got the Vikings in 4. I've got the Bears in 3. Just because I think very similarly, few growing pains, getting used to everything. I think they've got personnel to do it, but have they got the experience to do it? I've actually got Packers in 2, and yeah, I think the Lions will not walk this division, but I think they'll win it comfortably.
I agree. I think Lions have the best offensive line in football and will just dominate the division purely because they've got bigger men than everyone else. Packers go second, although I'm very concerned about their offensive line. One guy breaks through and hits Jordan Love, and all of a sudden their season's over. So really concerned about them. And also their second, I don't know if you saw the preseason game against the Broncos, but their second line, bloody hell, it's not good.
Preseason doesn't matter.
No, I know
Preseason
it
doesn't
doesn't.
count for anything.
But all of their
Also, I
number
wouldn't choose to
twos,
watch that.
their number twos, there's some dross in there.
Don't
There
worry about
really
it, mate.
is.
Don't worry about it.
Third, I've got the Vikings. So second, I've got the Packers. Third, I've got the Vikings because I think as a unit, as a team, I think there's a lot of talent in there. I think Aaron Jones staying in division could be a real big weapon for the Vikings. I like their offensive line. I like Sam Darnold. I think he'll be much better in this system. And if you look at, when he was drafted by the Jets with Adam Gase. Then he went to Carolina. It's where
He's had a
quarterbacks
bum
go
deal,
to die.
definitely.
And he's had a season in San Francisco learning under the great Brock Purdy. Watch Jim roll his eyes. No, I think he's learning in the system. He's learned in San Francisco in a system that he's now going to be playing in because it is effectively the same system. And he's coming. He knows before the season. He's got a few weeks to prepare. Okay, I am the number one starter. I'm going to be playing the entire system because McCarthy's out. I think it's a perfect situation where he knows he's got an entire year. Is now make your career, and he's a talented guy. Forget about the first couple of years. He is effectively a rookie in my.
He is effectively Geno Smith. This is his resurrection.
Yes,
in
100%.
theory. And I do agree with you. I mean, I've got the Vikings in fourth, but I do think they will win a few games and surprise a few people as well. Yeah, I just didn't feel they had enough cohesiveness to really trouble anyone at the top end.
There's been a massive overhaul on their front seven on defense. So many new names in there.
Agree.
Brian Flores is good enough to sort them out, but it might take a while. And you just know how fragile that team is. They only got 7 wins last year when they had Kirk Cousins slinging it. So,
well, they didn't have Kirk Cousins for a long time. They had Kirk Cousins for part of it, and then it was
half of it.
Nick Mullen, who, by the way, will one day be a really, really good head coach. And then they had the astronaut, Josh Dobbs. So, and he did well for a couple of games, but after that, I mean, they were terrible. They were worse than the Chargers after they lost.
No reason why they can't be terrible again.
I agree. No reason they can't. But I'm going to also be a bit controversial. I think they'll make the playoffs as well because I think they'll win a lot of games.
I'm surprised how you guys are so down on the Bears, though.
Not down on the Bears. It's
not
just
down on the Bears.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
You put them below the Packers again.
Yes.
With 2 more wins, I've got them going above the Packers.
Yeah, but 2 wins isn't really here nor there. It's a bit of luck, isn't it? It's a ball rolling the right way. It's something that can happen. So yes, Packers 2, Bears 3. They might be within a couple of games of each other. For me, it's just that little bit more nous and know-how in certain situations. We'll see the Packers probably win those couple of games more than the Bears.
So let's move on. We're halfway through, boys. Let's crack on to the South, and it's of course the AFC. Because we're following a pattern.
So it's my turn to go first.
Isn't it Punk's turn to go first?
No,
it's Dave's turn to go first. Dave jumped in first. Okay, yeah. Dave, hit me with yourself.
Fourth, Titans, because I don't like their mayo drinking quarterback.
He's got his own aftershave now as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
Mayo
I need to buy
myself
myself some.
It's his mayonnaise.
Rotten eggs and...
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just not convinced Will Levis is the guy.
You're
I'm
not?
Also shocking that, I never mentioned it before.
Breaking news.
And they've lost their talisman in Derrick Henry. They've lost their head coach, Mike Vrabel. Shouldn't have got rid of him, by the way. It's a travesty. I'm just not sure what or who they are. And this division is full of good teams who can punish you. This isn't the NFC South where you can stumble through and get some wins because everyone else is dross. It's a good division, so they're bottom. Third, the next 2 teams are really, really close, but I've got the Jags just because they're kind of like my Amazon guy. Sometimes they just fail to deliver. You're just wondering, come on, you've got more than this. You give me more, but they're just flat to deceive. Colts in second, but Richardson's got to become a real quarterback and stop playing hero ball, stop playing Cam Newton ball. Texans miles off, like way off in the future, way ahead. So yeah, they'll have won it by September, so it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the least interesting divisions this year. Like you, I've got the Texans walking away with it. I've got the Colts second, Jags third, Titans fourth.
The only change I've got is the Jags and the Colts. I think the hero ball from Richardson is going to come round and bite them in the arse on some occasions, which is going to lead to a loss. That's the only reason.
As long as he's doing hero ball with his hand and not his legs, that's the key.
And we saw flashes of it as well in the 4 games. There was plenty of opportunity, plenty of examples. Of Richardson standing in the pocket and delivering an absolute strike. And if you look about what happened the rest of the season with Gardner Minshew, I mean, Shane Steichen worked wonders to get them to a 9-win season, despite everything. So when you put that into context, I have to give them more wins than 9 because I'm a massive Richardson fan. I've got the Titans being the worst team in football this year. They're bottom of the division. They're bottom of football. The Jags are in 3rd for me. Although they're going to have a winning season.
That's the quote. They're bottom of football.
They're bottom of football.
I'm not sure. I think the Patriots might have something to say about that.
Either the Titans or the Patriots, they're fighting for the top spot in April. But Jags are second. Sorry, Jags are 3rd, but they still have a winning season and they're going to be better. And I think it's unfortunate that they're in this division right now because I think the Colts and the Texans will be toe to toe to win the division. I've got the Texans winning it, but only just.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm relying on Richardson with Steichen being that coach that can guide him through. I think he'll better do it. So
I just don't think he's played
pretty nice schedule as well.
I mean, the caveat for all these picks is injuries. So you know,
of course.
If you know first QB1s are going down left, right, and centre, then you know. It kind of throws things into chaos a little bit.
Got here.
It's like 35% of starters all missed multiple games last year. It's ridiculous. Okay, so NFC South.
That's me.
That's you.
I'm going to continue the trend of the Panthers being rock bottom in the division.
Shock, horror.
I think they'll be better. I do think they'll be better, but I don't think they're anywhere near good enough yet. I'm going with the Saints in 3rd. I don't really know what they are. They've got Derek Carr at quarterback. They really don't seem to have much of a game plan. Can't see them doing a huge amount this season.
With no game plan.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Buccaneers I've got in 2nd. I think they will be reasonable, but we all spent last season expecting Baker Mayfield to have his meltdown, and he didn't do it. That means he's guaranteed to have it this season. So for me, with the addition of Kirk Cousins at quarterback, assuming he's fit and healthy, with that offense and the moves they've made recently on the defense, whereby they finally picked up the defensive lineman,
Matthew Judon.
Yes, Matthew Judon, that we expected them to draft, and then they went with the quarterback. I think the Falcons will win this division. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk. I think this could be one of those, well, as it always is with the NFC South, it'll be, does anyone actually want to win it? But I think the Falcons will probably put up enough points on most of the teams within the division and around them that they'll probably just pit the Buccaneers to it.
I know I'm going out of order, but I just, for the sake of being quick, I agree with what he said, and I've got the same order.
There we go.
Okay.
I agree with the bottom 2. I am flipping the Falcons and the Bucks, and I have the Bucks edging it again. We all know what the South's like. No one wants to win it, and they always just seem to pass on the opportunity. But I think that the Bucks are going to pip it for no real reason, to be honest.
They're just more solid, aren't they? They're just more consistent at the moment. They haven't had to do too much in the off season. I agree with Finn. I think the Bucks take the division just over the Falcons, Saints, and then Panthers. But Panthers get 6 wins. I think they're going to be better this season. Got 2 better receivers in there.
Yeah,
already.
I agree.
Some more options, new guards. Saints. I've got a feeling that they'll bench Carr after about 4 or 5 weeks. Bring in Spanky Rattler.
Taysom Hill.
I was going to ask Spanky doing. That's
I think
Oh, yeah,
Spencer
of
Rattler
course.
will be the guy to guide them through to a 7-win season.
I love the fact that
and
you're
a third.
adopting my nickname for him as well.
Well, it's because
Spanky.
you're here.
Yeah.
But
Keep it
I love
in-house.
Spencer Rattler.
No one else in the world calls me Spanky, by the way. It's just
No.
something I've purely made up, and I love the
You're
fact
so
that
northern. You're
I'm
so northern.
infecting a lot of you.
I think that Penix pick might actually prove to be quite a bit of genius move, because if Cousins can't go, or if he does aggravate his injury, you've got a guy to come in straight away.
It might be
It's
now
gonna be
that they've
awkward,
actually
but
picked up that defensive lineman they needed, but
yes.
at the time it was
Oh, at the
very
time it was
much a
crazy.
case of what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Can we
that's
veer
fine.
off ever so slightly for 1 second? I've just got one question I want to ask, and it's an opinion piece more than anything. Does it matter swapping a right-handed quarterback for a left-handed quarterback?
Yes. For a
How
receiver
much?
it does,
No,
because the spin on the ball is completely different. So
okay.
whereas a right-handed quarterback, obviously, if you think about it, the ball spins to the right. It means that when you're leading the receiver, if he's running on the left side, his left hand is back, his right hand is forward. Whereas
So
if it's a left,
if you're receiving when it's coming to you, it's going counterclockwise, whereas the other way it's coming clockwise.
yes,
Effectively.
and
Right, okay.
and it can just affect receivers mentally as to how they catch that ball. So it sometimes takes a little while for receivers to figure out a left-handed quarterback.
Does it also affect your offensive line? Because effectively your
It
left
can do
tackle
because you're
becomes your
flipping
right
it.
tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
left guard
it
becomes your right
can
guard.
it can take a little bit of time for your left tackle that would be to play on the other side and just figure out that actually, oh no, I've got to go right, not left, and little
So
things like
does
that.
that mean they have to flip the playbook?
Sometimes some teams do, some teams don't. It really depends on what the coaches want to do. I personally think once you get to the NFL level, it don't make that much of a difference. But the problem is you only need like a 5% drop off, and then that'll cost you 5 games. So it's one of those things whereby it's small things that you wouldn't really notice, but equally it's probably enough to knock you off a little bit if you're switching mid-season. If you've done a full pre-season with a left-handed quarterback, there should be no issues whatsoever.
Because my concern was, if all of a sudden it's like, okay, Cousins is injured for 2 weeks, and then you got a left-handed quarterback coming in.
Yeah,
and then
it'll
comes
take
back
a
in
little
couple
bit of
weeks
time
after,
for them to kind of readjust.
I think you'd see more of it if it was, a swap mid-game or from one week to the other. But if if Cousins is going to be out for say 8 weeks, midway through that point, they would have then readjusted to a left-handed quarterback, and vice versa. Whereas I think if they would have come off the back of last season, right-handed quarterback, had an whole off-season, pre-season, left, they go in like nothing happened. So I think the biggest change you'd see is if it was a mid-game or from week 8 to week 9, for example.
And I fully expect any receiver that's worried about a left-handed quarterback throwing at him should be going up to his quarterback and going, "Can you just throw me 50 balls, please, so I can get used to catching your spirals and where your placement is." So it's small details, but some receivers would do that, some wouldn't. So
interesting.
We've got 2 divisions left, and they're both in the West. So we're starting with the AFC West, and I'm starting, right?
You're
apparently
Finn.
So.
We lost the order some way, so yeah, you're Finn.
I think it's me and then Finn does the NFC West, so that works out well. Well, in 4th, it's got to be the Broncos. Don't have to explain why.
No. Go on.
No one can possibly argue against it.
Come on, I just I'd like to hear your reasoning why.
Your words, my mouth. 3rd place is the Raiders.
Lies.
2nd, have you seen your team? In 2nd place is the LA Chargers, and of course, in 1st place, big surprise, is the Kansas City Chiefs. The big mover, obviously, is the Chargers. I like everything they've done since they brought Harbaugh in.
What, getting all their players injured? That was a really
They'll
good
healthy
move.
again. They'll be healthy again pretty soon. But the players he's brought in, I like them all, and I like all the moves he's made. So I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some actual payoff for the promise that has been the LA Chargers for such a long time. I've got them getting into double-digit wins.
They might sell half the stadium, yeah.
Well, exactly. I don't care so much about it. I'm just saying that's what I think they're going to do.
So,
whereas the other 2 teams, I'm looking at you 2.
Yeah, so anyone
Jeez
who wants
Louise.
to know what Jim thinks about the Broncos, have a listen to last week's episode. Give us a bit more on the
What did I say about him
Raiders.
last week?
A lot. Give us a little bit more on the
Oh.
Raiders, other than have you seen your team? Give us a little bit more than that.
He can't give any more than that.
The question mark is the
See,
quarterback.
I
It's the
don't-
quarterback and the defensive backs. That's where your
they're
question
now
is.
starting Gardner Minshew, right? Over Aiden O'Connell.
Gardner
It
Minshew
looks
has
that
been
way.
has been nominated as QB1. Now, whether that's for the next couple of preseason games, I don't know. But
One
at the
left.
moment, it looks like it's probably Gardner Minshew. I'm not entirely convinced that's the right decision, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the whole quarterback situation there.
Yeah, maybe you're right to be. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's
Well,
one of those
exactly.
mad random things where, actually we're going to knock the Chiefs off their perch and win the entire division just through Mad Max and Wilkins smashing teams to death.
We saw Gardner Minshew be dragged into some wins last year by a very, very good offensive-minded coach. You have a very good defensive-minded coach in Antonio Pierce. You have Luke Getsy as your offensive coordinator. So I think the case is closed on whether.
Yes, but we have
getting
some
you wins.
amazing tight ends. So
Yeah, but you've got
you
Luke
never know.
Getsy as your offensive coordinator. I don't like the staff there. I like Pierce, but I don't like.
You just don't like the
Getsy.
Raiders. It's
That's
simple
all it
as
is.
that.
I
No
would
one
like to
likes
like the Raiders. Give me a reason to
See,
like them.
Finn's
You
the
can't
only
give
one
me it.
that backs me up on any of this. What do you mean give you a reason? I've
That's
given you
not true.
thousands
What is
of
the reason
reasons
to like the
over the
Raiders?
last 10 years.
They've
It's
sucked
ridiculous.
forever. Except for the one season when their coach knew the other team's plays.
Shade thrown. Finn,
God.
what say you?
It's getting personal. I have gone. I've gone for the same, apart from, much to Punk's delight, I'm going to put the Raiders in second.
See, now there's a man that
Oh.
knows what he's talking about.
Oh,
I think-
really? Because
I think it's going to be close
6 wins
with
rather
the
than
Chargers, but I think they're going to pivot. The question mark is still around the QB, but I think if they can figure that out early enough, there'll be enough to push on and take second spot. Chiefs we don't need to talk about. Broncos we'll leave Dave to talk about. But yeah, I'm putting the Raiders. I think they have more as a unit compared to the Chargers. That's going to put them in second.
I'm going to go next so that Dave, you can have like the rest of the podcast to talk about the Broncos if you
I'll
We've
need
still
very,
got to do the
very
NFC
quick.
West, all right? So
But I have gone the same as Finn. So Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. The reason I've gone Raiders 2, Chargers 3. Now I think that could quite easily flip, but I think the 8 games that Pierce had with this team last season means there's less upheaval and less unknown than there is with the Chargers. Chargers have had a massive turnover this season. They keep getting players injured, which I still think has to be like the old Arsenal problem of there's something up at the training ground, because this is not a new problem for the Chargers. This has been going on for years. Players getting injured constantly.
I think
Now-
it's a conditioning thing because a lot of the stuff that they get, a lot of it's not muscular, it's tendon stuff.
Yeah, if it is a conditioning thing, then Harbaugh should sort that out because he is a hard-nosed
Yeah,
old
but
school
it's
guy.
not gonna. That's not gonna
But-
happen overnight.
No, exactly, which is my point as to
Mm.
why I've got the Raiders in 2 and the Chargers in 3.
do you think
Okay.
the doctor's got tenure there or something?
Maybe.
So when you
Probably.
said,
It's got stakes.
Yeah,
So,
he's got
I just
he's got
want to
needles, certainly.
clarify, Punk. You said Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. Are you going from bottom to
Yes.
top or top to bottom? Just checking.
Well,
It's the hope that
I
kills
did
you,
think
Dave.
about
I
it,
know,
but
I know.
unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes behind the back pass the other day just flipped it for me with the Chiefs. So.
Oh, he let go of that. That was a fumble. He didn't mean to do
Yeah.
it. He just
Chiefs-
went like that
Chiefs
to
top.
run, and it
Yeah,
came out of his hand.
exactly.
So
and it was
it's a
fumble.
consensus that the Broncos are bottom of this division then.
No.
what we're saying.
So
No,
Dave,
no,
what
it's
are you doing?
it's
Here
a
we
Come on,
three-quarter
be
consensus.
sensible now.
okay, so Chiefs are
Be
going to win it,
sensible.
and I think they'll win it by a mile, so it's
Going
fine.
the wrong way.
I agree. I am going the one way purposely.
Yeah.
I agree that with everything that Punk said about the Chargers, I think
You want to.
their second string of players isn't good enough. There's been too much of a turnover. Harbaugh will get it right, just not right now. And I've got them finishing bottom. Not by much, but I've got them finishing bottom. I think the Broncos and the Raiders finish with exactly the same record, and I'm gonna go on the Raiders. Quarterback, I don't know what Gardner Minshew is exactly. I think
Well, he's
last
a
season he
quarterback.
showed a
He's a
little bit of
quarterback that
promise.
nearly took the Colts to a
We know what
But
he
last
is.
season
playoffs last season.
last season I said he is the best backup in the league, and I still think he is. I don't think he's a starter, but how much can you get out of him? Antonio Pierce is a bit of a Dan Campbell light. He's a bit of a guy who everyone loves, and he'll get you up for a game. It's like you'll listen to his talk and go, bloody hell, yeah, I want to go out and smash someone. Their defensive front, I think Tyree Wilson gets a lot better this season.
He needs to.
I think
needs
Max
to get
Crosby
a
is
lot
Max
better.
Crosby. I like John Jenkins. I like you've got the other lad who played for the Broncos, Byron Young. I think he's good. Or I think we had him at one point. I think he actually played for us. And Christian Wilkins is Christian Wilkins. So I think your defensive front is very, very good. I don't know about your defensive backs. I'm going to be honest. I'm not entirely
They're
sure
all
how
right,
much you've
but
strengthened.
once you get past Jack Jones and that, you've kind of not got a lot of depth there.
Jack Jones
So-
even worries me because he goes
Yeah.
for the ball a bit too much.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, he's a ball hawk. But
Having two tight ends that are uber talented and young, I think is going to be a benefit for you, especially if you're playing 21-man personnel. So, and Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. So I think there's a lot of skill there. It's just the quarterback that really, really worries me. With the Broncos,
I agree, and that's the one thing that stops me from putting us above the Chiefs. But it is what it is. We can't do anything about it now. So
you should have done something about it.
That is the one thing that's.
Well, yeah, but we didn't want flipping Bo Nix because he's dreadful. So
and we were ahead of you in the draft. So that's the other thing that stops you. So, well, apparently the Broncos actually rang the Raiders and asked them if they wanted what they were considering, because it was let's just double check and make sure they're not moving up. But you were like, no, we're staying, so it's fine. I'm a Bo Nix fan from his time in the Pac-12. I think he'll work. It's a little bit of orange blinkers, and I accept that. I fully accept that.
Oh, same reason I put the Raiders in second. It's a little bit of silver and black blinker. I mean, we're not as bad as Jim.
Second last year.
I
gave my team one more win. That's all I did.
Which is equally ridiculous.
One too many and three not enough less.
Broncos won 8 last season, so a couple more wins.
I think you might struggle to get 8 this year. I think you'll be in that 6.
Have got the Broncos winning 3. So
I don't think you're 3. No, I think you're in the 5, 6, 7 mark.
Not even I gave you 3.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll win some games, we'll lose some games. I think we lose week 1 just because I think it's a bit too soon, and I think defensively we're playing away at a really loud stadium. I just think it's a bit too much too early.
That's the Seahawks, by the way, Finn.
Yeah, that's Seahawks. So I think
you lose week 2 at home.
Yeah. No, we find week 2. Week 2 is going to
be
week
3. Week 2, mate.
Trounce. That's the Steelers at home, so we'll be fine. That's going to be the end for Russell Wilson. So no, I think we'll be okay. I'd like us this season.
Superman, that game.
I'd like us this season to beat the Raiders, because it's been a few years since
Good luck
we've done
with
that. And I don't mind if we split. And I'd like us to get another win over the Chiefs again. That would be the really nice.
We all want wins over the Chiefs. Let's be honest.
I want every team to get wins over the Chiefs.
We want a Ferrari.
But I love a Ferrari. If you're offering. I didn't know we were doing that well on the sponsorship on the podcast. No, I think we'll be fine. NFC West.
What was your ordering again? Where'd you have the Broncos?
So Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. I think the Broncos and the Raiders finish on the same record. Yeah, I think they finish on the same record, and by split we're.
You put Steelers first, Jim. So you can't give.
Yeah, you shut your mouth.
No. I made the playoffs last year. What did you do?
What did we do?
You personally made the playoffs.
Yeah, my team won the playoffs.
How did I miss that?
Made the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, your team did make the playoffs.
He had a completely different quarterback.
Because one team in your division lost their quarterback and were playing him constantly when he was early. The other team had 9 quarterbacks.
That's my fault, is it?
Your team. It's your team's fault because you lot probably injured a lot of them. Anyway, we digress.
Let's move
NFC
on.
West.
Let's move on.
NFC West.
I think it's
me.
It's me. Finn, you're not going to like me. I'm not reciprocating the love. I've got the Seahawks in 4. I've got the Cardinals in 3. I've got the Rams at 2, and I've got the Niners maintaining at 1.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Let's be honest. Niners and Rams in this division pretty much separate themselves out. I think the Cardinals have done enough and have got enough to show. And I think Kyler Murray is kind of the forgotten man slightly in the quarterback conversations because the Cardinals have been so bad recently and through injuries and stuff. But I think this year he's going to kind of prove that he should be in that top 10 conversation somewhere, and at least be on a par with Dak Prescott. So for me, I just think the Seahawks, it's that transition time. Gino kind of proved last year that he's not quite what you need. I think you're very young. I think you've got some players still. Charbonnet, Metcalf, obviously. But I just think it's a rebuild year for the Seahawks. And so yeah, I've got them going bottom.
I see.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Who's next?
Well, we'll leave Finn till last because it's his division. So,
Go on,
Jim.
then.
All right. Well, I've got the Cardinals going bottom of the division, the Rams in third, the Seahawks in second, and the Niners in first. But they're all pretty close to each other. Cardinals have got getting 7 wins. So obviously, Kyler back, as Punk said. I've given them 3 more wins than last year off the back of that. Rams were completely reliant on Matt Stafford staying healthy because Stetson Bennett looks hilarious as a quarterback. So I've got them 9-8. Obviously, they've lost Aaron Donald now. It's going to be difficult to move on from losing someone that important for the team. And the Seahawks, yeah, okay. I've got to kind of hope that Kenneth Walker stays healthy and Jackson Smith-Njigba has a move up year. But I do like the team. I like they've got Mike McDonald there now as the new head coach. It's going to be a breath of fresh air in the team. Chance for them to really kind of push on. I've got them going second in the division and making the playoffs. And the 49ers, I've got them getting 1 less win. So 11-6. It's still going to be top of the division, but it's going to be tough for them. They're not quite as good as they used to be. You can only get beaten so many times in the Super Bowl before it really starts to affect you, I think.
And you've got players like Kittle and stuff that are starting to now show the wear and tear and this, that, and the other. So I do agree with you. I think the 49ers have taken a step back. I don't think they're quite the juggernaut that they have been the last few years.
No,
I agree, but I don't think it affects them this season because I think and I think they know this is the last dance.
Well, they've still got McCaffrey there, and they've still got.
They're going to have, they're going to have to start giving out some big contracts, and I don't think they've got the money to be able to manipulate the cap the way that like the Cowboys do or some other teams. So I think that the creative accounting, the capital is just not necessarily there. Rams I put second. Only because I feel the way about the Seahawks that I do about the Raiders, basically. I think you've got supreme talent all over the field, apart from at quarterback, and that's what's going to be the thing that holds you back. Who's your backup now? Is it Sam Howell?
Sam Howell. I think the plan is to make him starter.
Yeah, I think it has to be because Gino last year it was the Michael Ricketts syndrome. He looked good for a bit, and then after a while, you sort of go, "You are actually." Yeah,
I think what it was with Gino is when he had his it's weird using the term breakthrough because of how many years he was in the league. But we all know, the period is it sort of. I think everyone was a bit in shock and didn't really know what to expect, and then
bloody was,
and then everyone's sort of caught on to how he plays, and it's better than he has been over the past however many years, but it didn't look as good as the season before because people had sussed him out and knew how to defend against him.
You got to evolve, haven't you? You come on, you do something good. Everyone learns how to beat you at it, and you've got to change
and you got to evolve
and move with it. You can't keep doing the same thing every time because this is a learning league. Defenses catch up. You've got to keep moving forwards.
Which, by the way, is also a bit of a concern for the Chargers because they're going to be very good, but then they're going to need to evolve that team as well. They can't just be, a run first will be because we're strong.
Oh yeah, they won't. No.
In terms of NFC West, I think the Seahawks will be good. Defensively, I think you're going to be fantastic. Punk, you're going to love watching them. Offense, I think you're going to be a bit of a disaster, unfortunately. I like Sam Howell, I really do. I just don't think. I think he's a guy rather than the guy. Cardinals, They've got real pieces that I like. I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. I think Trey McBride might be an amazing fantasy pickup. If their offensive line can stay fit, I think they've got Paris Johnson. I was going to say left tackle.
Left tackle.
I think they got Jonah Williams, the guy from the Bengals at right tackle. Evan Brown, and I think Will Hernandez is the other guard. You know, if that line can stay together, that's more than enough to give Kyler Murray the ability to be able to actually stay in the pocket and throw from the pocket. They've got good pieces on defense. I can't believe they've still got Budda Baker. That man loves Arizona. He just doesn't want to move. So I think they've got pieces. I'm not sure I run with Punk and them being ahead of the Seahawks, but in hindsight, it probably wouldn't shock me a great deal, to be honest. But yeah, 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cards.
Ben, round us out,
mate. Okay. So I've got Cards in fourth. Don't get me wrong, I think they've taken huge steps forward. They've got pieces there already in Kyler Murray, like we've said, but I still don't see it being enough for them to move off bottom spot.
Very, very well put. I think that's exactly right.
I think, well, let's not beat around the bush. 49ers are going to win the division. I think only because I wasn't going to sort of leave you in suspense, because we all know that's where it was going to go. Not like you. I'm not like you, Jim. I'm not going to put us in division champs. So I'm putting 49ers div champs. I agree. I think they're going to regress slightly. Still going to win it comfortably, but with less wins than last season. Going back to third, I'm doing this in a really awkward order, but who cares? My division. I'm going Rams in third. This might be Seattle blinkers, but never mind. Rams, I think, are going to feel the loss of Aaron Donald a lot. And a lot of games last year, they looked beatable, and through chances of, I don't want to say luck, but you sort of make your own luck as well.
Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams.
Yeah, people bailed them out, or the opposition bailed them out by making silly errors. So I think they look a beatable team. With us, I fully agree, Punk. I think it is very much a rebuild year, and I don't think many know where it's going to go. But I think that, particularly with Mike McDonald coming in, that defense is really going to become an absolute unit, and it's cost us over the last few seasons. And I think that's what's going to lead us to move forward in terms of wins compared to last year, because we're going to be able to stop teams and limit them to a touchdown or two. And then the offense isn't going to be pretty. I don't think the offense is. We got pieces, but it's not going to be free flowing. It's not going to, it's not going to be great offensive football, but there's going to be enough to put up more points than we concede. Not by much. I'm not saying we're going to massively outscore everyone, because I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe on the odd occasion. I think there's going to be very close games, probably too close for my heart to cope, but enough that we're going to win dirty.
Get that
ugly.
defense going.
I want to make one prediction for this division. I think the Seahawks sweep the 49ers. The reason I say that is because the defense that you'll build will stop the run. Like, it will be record defining of teams not being able to run against you. And that's everything's built for the 49ers off the run. Everything. So you're going to force Brock Purdy to be able to throw it, which he's not going to be able to do. So I think you'll beat them both. I think there'll be close games, but I think you'll win both games. I don't think it ultimately makes a difference in terms of you winning the division or anything like that. But I think your run defense and ability to be able to stuff their run means that it's going to be very, very different. And not only stuff the run, by the way, but it's stuff in the run and the short swing passes, because you're able to create that pressure through the middle.
Bold.
So
I'll take it.
Intriguing. Well, we've got more predictions to come next week. We're going through all of the awards that we're going to be giving out next.
The only thing I was going to say, yes, that's true, but we also now need to pick who we believe at the teams who finish second are going to be our playoff teams.
Oh, If we have
So,
to.
Well, I can go first because I've already done mine if you want to.
I've
Go on
already
then.
done mine, so I can
Yes,
do
go
it.
on then quickly.
Okay, Punk, you go first then.
All right. So for me, in the NFC, the 3 wildcard teams will be the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Rams, along with division winners 49ers, Eagles, Falcons, and Lions.
So the Packers. Say again.
Packers, Cowboys, Rams.
Excellent. Okay.
In the AFC, I've got obviously division winners Ravens, Texans, Jets, and Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then wildcard teams Bengals, Dolphins, and Bills.
Excellent. Okay. Jim, what say you?
So NFC, it seems we're going through first. My division winners are the Eagles, the Lions, the Bucks, and the 49ers. And
Yep.
the wildcard teams, the Cowboys, the Bears, and the Seahawks.
Bears.
I'm seconding that.
just the Seahawks bit.
Purely the Seahawks bit.
Nothing else, just the Seahawks bit.
No, I'm in
Jim,
lockstep with Jim there.
what's your AFC?
And the AFC division winners are the Dolphins, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs.
No, seriously.
Screw you guys.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
He can't say the word Ravens. He means Ravens, but
No,
he
I
can't
don't.
say the
Absolutely
word
don't.
Ravens.
And the wildcard teams are the Bengals,
Yeah.
the Colts, and the Chargers.
Okay.
My AFC, because Jim kindly did my NFC. Champs, I have Dolphins, Bengals, Texans, Chiefs. And wild cards, I've got Bills, Ravens, and the Raiders.
Raiders.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh, I like
Naughty
this.
Why don't they
Anyway.
pelt us for this?
You're still getting pelted, Jim. Don't worry.
The Lulu. That's you.
So, for me, I'll go NFC first, seeing as
Yeah.
that seems to be what we're doing. So I've got Lions, Eagles, 49ers, Falcons, and I'm going to have the Rams, the Packers, and yes, I'm doing it, the Vikings. Stick that in your pipe and
The
smoke it.
Vikings.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
You
Jim's
don't-
just
What?
burst.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
All right. Go on,
Nothing like a
AFC.
spicy pick.
I know, right? Spicy, and then there's spicy. So AFC, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, and I'm going to go for the Bengals, the Colts, and yes, I'm doing it. No, Dolphins. I'm only joking. Not the Broncos. So what that means, in terms of actual wildcard spots,
I'm the only one that's got it right.
I mean, that obviously
That's
goes
what it
without saying.
means.
That goes
Obviously,
without
fine.
saying. The teams that we think are going to be wildcard spot, all four of us have got the Dolphins. All four of us in terms of playoffs have got the Dolphins, 49ers, Eagles, and Chiefs for obvious reasons.
Shocking.
In terms of actual wildcard winners, we've got the Cowboys. Three of us have got the Cowboys in the wildcard spots. 3 of us have got the Bengals, 2 of us the Bears, 1 the Chargers, 1 the Raiders, 1 the Ravens, etc., etc. So, yeah, the Cowboys and the Bengals look as though they are destined to be wildcard teams. In terms of division winners, Texans, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and 49ers, we all agree on those.
Yeah.
And then one crazy bastard's got the Steelers. There we go.
We make the playoffs, mate.
I
That's what
wonder who.
happens. Always counted out
Craziness.
every single year.
And
Anyway.
this year
If you do, it's not through Div
absolutely
Champs.
no different.
There's no difference this year. It's always the same. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we'll be back next week. We're finally back this week, but we're back next week again with our awards predictions for the end of the season. So offensive player of the year, MVP. We're all going to know at the end of next week who's getting those awards. But it's great to be back. Make sure you follow us on socials and go to patreon.com/finaldown. That's all of our stuff is going to be on there from now on.
Can you edit your pick for your Steelers, please? Because that's just offensive.
No, it's comedy value. That's what it is.
It's only offensive until it turns out to be true. Anyway, until next week, I've been Jim, that's been Finn, that's been Pat Red, that's been Dave. Thank you very much for listening.